Hey everyone, welcome to the xAPI cohort week 5, almost halfway through. Can't believe it. But today we have a great session. We're going to discuss adopting and implementing xAPI for enhanced learner engagement and analytics. And I'm going to go through just a few slides before we get started. Some of you who are new, you will not see you will see the same slides. So just a moment here while I get things situated. There we go. Let's go here. All right, so the last 10 minutes of xAPI cohort check-in. So there's a couple of you who have messaged me who would like to say a few words at the end, talk about your project, maybe ask some questions. If you haven't, go ahead and ping me in the chat, private message me, and we'll sure to get you in. If you are new to cohort, join a team. You are going to talk about different projects, different things, and there's a team list over there on the left-hand side of the screen. There's also a discussion channel, lots of things going on. Make sure you are engaging in the Slack channel. From Guild Research, Learning Management Systems. It's a real deep dive into LMSs. I'm going to post a link when I'm done talking. You'll be able to download that for free if you're a Guild member. Don't forget DevLearn, August 25th to the 27th. There is a lot of things going on. We have learning analytics. We've got the xAPI user conference. Awesome. You should be a part of that if you are going to DevLearn. And if you are not a member of the Guild, please become a member. I'll post a link in chat when I'm done speaking. But I can't stress enough, it's a free membership for you. And you get a lot of different resources. You get discounts on our face-to-face conferences. There's all kinds of events. There's all kinds of publications that you can take part in, and you can get session recordings for things as well. So if you become a member today, you'll get some session recordings for things we did early in the year, and you can watch them at your leisure. So don't forget, xAPI party, November 2nd, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Go ahead and register for that. And now, apologize for this, but now we're going to begin. And I'm going to turn things over to Khalid, who will be talking to us about adopting and implementing xAPI for enhanced learner engagement and analytics. And so with that, I am going to go ahead and stop sharing and turn it over to Khalid.
Okay, thank you, Karin. Thanks a lot. Today, I'm going to speak about my experience or our experience with the xAPI. We have a very good story. I think it will be very interesting for you to know or to live with my story with xAPI. We started actually 1.5 years back with xAPI implementation. When I say we, I mean let me go one step back. Actually, my name is Khalid. I'm working and living in Saudi Arabia, working in National eLearning Center. So we decided in the eLearning Center to integrate all LMSs, I mean nationwide in Saudi Arabia, to collect all information regarding the learner engagement from different various LMSs and collect these informations in central store that is called Learning Record Store. This data, of course, it will be used in many or various purposes for recommender system, for analytics, for adaptive learning. You can't imagine what kind of uses we can get out of this, let's say, gold mining. I mean, inside this pile of data. Anyhow, let me just start presenting my slides. Okay. One of the applications we are going to use the data with is a learning passport. Learning passport means we are collecting skills gained by learner across multiple LMSs. So whatever courses are gained or completed by a learner from various LMSs, we keep track of these courses, even if the user has taken these courses from different LMSs. So one might ask, how can we recognize or identify the same user if he is taking multiple courses across different platforms? That I will come through maybe in the second or third slide. The data will be also used for recommender system. Of course, if we know of the courses that has been taken by the user and the similarity between users, we can give better recommendation. Moreover, the data can be very clearly used for adaptive learning. Adaptive learning, I will just give a simple definition. It's a process of tracking the trainee's behavior and performance during the educational process and finding his strengths and weaknesses, and learner curriculum is modified accordingly. What do you mean by that? Sometimes the learner will go very fast in a fast pace with some lessons, and sometimes he will go in slow pace with some lessons. So according to this information, we can better recommend what is the next lesson, what is the next curriculum for that student to have a better learning experience. Okay, so here I've just given a simple drawing for the LMSs connecting to the LRS. We have a central LRS nationwide. We have LMS1, LMS2, LMS number N, whatever is the number of LMSs. Here I would like just to tell the beginning what is the number of LMSs once we started this project. This project, as mentioned earlier, it's 1.5 years back. In the beginning, we started integrating maybe 2 or 3 LMSs just for testing purposes and just to make the setup looks well. Within the first few months, we could come up with more than 50 LMSs, totally different LMSs. After a while, or let me say now, we are ending up with 170 different LMSs. These LMSs are totally different. They are different, designed by different framework. Some of them are designed by Model, some by WordPress, some are totally created from the scratch by programmers. So all these LMSs can integrate with the LRS using the xAPI statements. So here I'm taking just one scenario for a learner on the right side. He's taking a course from LMS number 1. And the same course after a while, or maybe at the same time even, he's registered to another LMS and he's taking another course. So all skills that this learner has gained from these different LMSs can be collected in one place so that this learner can be, or this skills or courses gained by this learner can be tracked so that we can give a better learning experience or better recommendation system for this user. Here is a more detailed picture. He is the same in the first line. The same learner has completed course ABC from the LMS1 and he gained some skills, let's say, for example, skill 1 and skill 2. The same learner, he has gone to another or joined another LMS XYZ he completed a course XYZ from LMS5 and he gained some other skills, let's say, for example, skill 3 and skill 4. So the total skills can be collected in one place. It can be used in learning profile, recommender system, and whatever is needed for that. So here, let's go more detailed or more closer to the xAPI activities we are trying to collect, or let's say the engagement that we are trying to collect for learners. First verb, or let's say first engagement we collect regarding a student is the course enrollment. Whenever a learner or a user joins any course, so this is the first event that we collect. The second event is course initialization. Consuming videos. Once a user or a learner will start or will complete watching a video or a lesson, let's say, so we can track that event, completing lessons, units, attempting quizzes, and of course, these statements, the xAPI statements, will differ somehow in the content regarding the event itself. So the course enrollment, for example, statement has main objects like actor, verb, and object. But in some xAPI statements, we have more keys and more objects to describe the event itself. For example, the courses, the quizzes, we will have some more data regarding the quiz itself, the grade that the learner has gained in that quiz, and so on. Measuring the learner progress, course completion. So we will end up with course completion. After course completion, a learner can rate the course, whether maybe the grade can be in a star way, like 4 stars out of 5, or he can grade it in any way the system or the platform hosting the course can give or provide to the learner. Finally, if the course has a certificate, then we can keep track of the certificate that the learner has gained, and even we can have the link for that certificate. Here are some of the verbs and let me say the concepts that we used in the profile. We have used the registered verb, initialized, watched, completed, progressed, attempted. So for starting such project, we have to know what concepts we will need to use in the xAPI and to collect the information. So here are the verbs, and here are the verb IDs. And on the right column, we are having the vocabulary, or sorry, the profile that we collected these verbs from. For example, the registered verb is taken from the ADL vocabulary. That is, I think, advanced. I don't know. I forgot the ADL. Anyway, these are learning profiles. You can view all these learning profiles, or xAPI profiles, using the link provided here. That is profiles.adlnet.gov.profiles, where you can select what verbs, what activities, what concept you will use for collecting this information. For collecting, for object types, we use, for example, lesson, course, video, module. We use also unit test for collecting quiz data, and so on. So I'm I'm listing just a brief list of the concepts that we get collected from different various profiles. Here is an example of the registered statement. Once the user will register in a course, the xAPI statement will look like this. The pink keys, these are just fixed keys that can be filled with any values regarding the learner and the verb, and of course the object name, object definition, object type. We can have a closer look at this one on the next slide, magnified view. Okay, here, for example, as we might, let me say, some of you who have already gone through xAPI, here we have the main objects are actor, verb, object. The actor, we specify the learner ID. The verb, we specify the verb or the action that has been taken. Object, here we specify, for example, in the register statement, the object is, of course, the course itself that this user has registered in. So here, let me tell what we put in the place of the name. Here, in most of the xAPI scenarios, the people will use the name, the full name of the learner. But here we have replaced the name with the national ID. Here I put just an example of the national ID 1, 2, 3 through 9, because here the national ID, if the user here uses his national ID while logging into the LMS and take a course, if the same learner will use the same ID while taking another course, he can be identified through his unique ID. So here, once we integrate with the LMSs, we have put some standards for them that once you send in a statement, an xAPI statement, we don't need the full name of the learner. we need the national ID, because getting the other informations like name, age, this is another task that can be done by different means. The rest of the statement here, I've just divided the statement. The first part was here, and the second part is here. Context here, instructor. We collect the name of the instructor. Platform. Here is a very unique value. The platform, as we said before, I said before, that we have different platforms. We have more than 170 platforms at the current time. So every platform or every LMS that's going to connect to the LRS or integrate with the LRS, we provide them with that unique key so that we can make out later or distinguish each and every platform from the other. Extensions here, in the extensions, we specify here the platform full name. Here also we can collect the competencies and skills provided by the course. For example, the above course here, or the course I'm displaying here, it has some competencies like system analysis, artificial intelligence, and the skills gained by this course are Python and deep learning. This is just an example. In fact, let me just tell one thing here regarding competencies and skills. Some platforms, we found that some platforms, they don't provide the competencies and skills. Sometimes they might not even know how to provide and what skills the course can provide. They can provide maybe some skills, but not they won't be accurate as we require. So what we did, we have created an AI tool just to extract the skills out of the course description. So here in the course description here in this slide, we have the description for the course. In this course, for example, this is the text. We require here from the LMSs to provide the full description of the course. It can be maybe 10, 20, or 30 lines of description. Out of that, we implement the AI tool to extract the skills gained by that or by this course. So here, context activities. In some statements, this is in some statements, we collect some informations like parent. For example, if a user will watch a video, then the object won't be the course, it will be the video itself. But that video, what course does it belong to? Here in the context activities, we can specify the course that this video is belonging to. So this is just a fast look or fast, let's say, through the through the xAPI statement and how does it look like. Initially, in the very beginning, we have used learning locker LRS. That is a very great learning record store LRS. And due to some issues regarding the technical support and cybersecurity issues, we had to move into an enterprise LRS, and for that we have gone with Veracity Learning. They are providing good solution in this manner, and there are some other even solutions like Watershed and many others. They are very good solutions. The main thing is here with Veracity, they provide on-premise learning record store. So for the integration process with LMSs, we started. We have created two LRSs. One for staging, that is on the right side. The second is for the production LRS. Once the LMS or the entity will try to integrate into our LRS, what we actually do, they will send many noisy data, wrong statements. So during this trial process, we can receive their statements on the staging LRS. Once we are sure that this LMS or this entity is good enough to start sending the real data from their LMS to the LRS, then we provide them with another endpoint to the production LRS. So here we have two LRSs for the same for this purpose. Here is just an example of how data looks like once we receive it on the LRS. Here is the production, the staging LRS. So here we can see all statements reaching. This is the learner ID on the left side. The second column containing the verb or the action has been taken by the learner. Object, the time this statement has been reached, the platform that is sending the data, that is the unique key for the platform, and here is the full name for that platform. Using the Veracity dashboard, we have created a custom dashboard. It's containing some aggregate information regarding the number of activities per LMS, the number of LMSs integrated with the LRS. Here, actually, the picture, this is very old picture. It was in the, let's say, in the first months of the project, where we had only 48 LMSs. As I say, only 48, because our target is not just 48, not even the 170 that we have reached now. We are aiming to connect or integrate with hundreds of LMSs nationwide. Here is some other aggregate information. For the first one, we have the information regarding the number of courses per entity. For example, this LMS 001 is having nearly 56 courses on their LMS. Other LMSs, they are having 271. Here, the LMS 3 is containing 28 courses, and so on. Here is also the total number of learners per LMS. Here it shows 1,000. It's actually more than 1,000, but due to the limit of the Mongo query that we implement to get this information, we don't show the total number. It has been modified later to show the real number. Here is the number of certificates issued by every LMS. Some LMSs, they don't issue actually a certificate. So they are not allowed to issue certificates. They can only just give completion certificate for users or for learners. Here is the feedback for the LMSs. We collect information from LMSs. We can provide them some statistics regarding their LMS. For example, the number of courses has been joined during the last month. The number of courses have been completed, how many certificates. This LMS, this screen is given just to a specific LMS, where we give just this information to them. Some of the LMSs, they don't have advanced dashing or dashboards, so that's what we provide them with. We face some challenges during this project. What are the challenges? Actually, integrating this number of LMSs, various and diverse LMSs, contain some challenges. The first challenge is explaining the integration rules to every LMS. So how we start the integration process with these LMSs? Actually, we make a webinar collecting or gathering maybe 10 to 20 LMS technicians, or let me say IT or developers, let's say. We collect them in one session and start showing them and teaching them the xAPI, how to integrate, what are the endpoints we are going to provide, the key and client that we provide them with, how the xAPI statement looks like, how is the JSON object exactly looks like that they need to send. We are still facing problems with other LMSs, but in fact, since 1.5 years, we have just collected 170 LMSs. That is a good number for the present. After we start integration with some LMSs, we start checking the data that they send to the staging LRS. Checking these statements takes time for checking every statement that is coming from every LMS. So this is also one of the challenges. It needs a good team and fast team to keep track of all these statements and check if they are correct. We have to check each and every element in the statement, because wrong data means wrong outcomes. The third challenge is broadcasting updates to all LMSs tech teams to meet the new requirements. Sometimes if we need to make or to change or to have any update, we need to propagate that update to all LMSs. So that is a big challenge. That's why we try to give as much as we can uh, to all these LMSs before we start making any update. Maybe we have to make updates. When I say update, it means collecting more information. For example, the phone number of the instructor, getting skills, because the skills issue was not added before. So we added that one. We had to contact all the LMSs for any update. Other issue is the cybersecurity issues. For that, we have for any LMS to start joining our or to start integrating with our LRS, we had to get their static IP that they are sending their LMS their statements from, so that we eliminate, or our firewall can distinguish which IP this statement is coming from. If the IP is not defined in the firewall, the IP can't accept or receive that data or statements. In big projects, there is no straightforward line, but at the end we can reach. That's why in the beginning of the project we thought that this is a very challenging mega project, but finally or currently we are getting very reasonable data that we can start building the recommender system and the AI, the rest of the AI engines based on that. Thank you all. I hope I could explain my project in a very proper manner. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Khalid. That was really interesting. I'm seeing if there's any questions, and I think you did a great job of explaining everything for everybody. A lot of hand claps. But if we have any questions, I'm just gonna wait a few minutes and see if there's any questions. I think that's quite the immense project you've taken on, and I think you did a great job explaining how you went through the different steps. And there's a question that has come in. All right, so the question is, can you talk more about how the adaptive learning piece of the program works? What behavior and performance metrics are used?
Okay, that's a great question. As we know, if we want to build a better recommender system or better adaptive learning, because adaptive learning or let's say the recommender system can be used as one component of the total adaptive learning architecture. So adaptive learning needs better and good quality of data, and that's what we collect in the LRS. What data we collect? We collect the time the user has spent in the course, the pace that the student has gained, or the pace that the learner has finished the course with, or at least he is progressing with. We collect information regarding how fast did the learner completed the course, what exams, what we can say the assessment this learner has taken. According to this information, very easily, it's valuable information to feed into adaptive learning.
All right, great. So we have another question. I hope that answers your question. What relationship does the National eLearning Center have with the LMS owners? Which LMSs are eligible to join the nationwide LRS?
Yes. This is a very important question. Uh, okay, the entity where I work with, it's a government entity. So it has the governance over all these national or let's say all LMSs. So once an LMS need to get the license to start working as an LMS or an e-learning provider, they have to get the license from the national center where this LRS is located. So it's mandatory to integrate with our LRS.
Okay, so yeah, you've got everybody who can, it's like everybody who's eligible are the people who have the license from the government,
Exactly.
correct?
Exactly.
Exactly. Okay. Then can you explain how you create the national ID?
Okay, the national ID actually it is what to say. It is I don't know what you call it in US or other countries. It's
Mhm.
the I don't know. It's called social security number or whatever. It's like a passport number, but not passport number. It is the national ID that every citizen should have. Every not
Mhm.
citizen, even every uh, person living in Saudi Arabia, he must be having a national ID, unique national ID. So this national ID
Yeah,
never changes.
yeah, we have social security numbers, we have resident alien numbers. There's a bunch of different numbers that are attached to your status as a citizen. So I think that may be what you're talking about. Are you tracking any non-e-learning interactions? And if so, what type of interactions?
Yes, sometimes some courses are presented using online training. For example, there are some in some LMSs they use Zoom for providing their courses. So it's not just totally, let's say, offline, or a student can do it on its own pace. No, sometimes they provide online classes using a group call, just like Zoom meeting or whatever. So here we ask the LMS administrators to register all students who have attended the event using normal attendance, and that attendance we record it as a watch statement. So once a student has attended a seminar or a lesson using the online platforms, it is very similar to watch statement.
Okay, great.
I would like
So,
just to add one more thing
sure,
regarding the first
please.
question. For the one who asked about adaptive learning, this is very interesting topic, and very wide project. Uh, Here, uh, by the use of LLMs, large language models that have recently evolved, we can feed that LLM with our data, or we can say even the learner specific information. For example, if you go to Google Bard, just as an example, a first example, and you will tell Google Bard, okay, I have the following skills. I have Python, I have deep learning, I have machine learning skills, and I have some difficulties in some lessons. I have some difficulties in maybe hearing. I can't read properly. I like watching videos only. It can recommend you a better uh, resources that can adapt with you. This is the same logic that we use with adaptive learning. We have these LMSs. All these LMSs are having many different courses. They can break their courses even into a smaller units by their lessons, so that a learner even can take. That's what we aim to do. A learner can take or combine lessons from different courses, from different LMSs, to make a separate or unique DNA for that learner, just to, let's say, to provide him with the learning experience that exactly suits his ability.
Okay, great. That's a little more in depth. And then let's see, I think that's it for the questions. And if anyone has any further questions, yeah, there is the information there on the screen where you can contact, I'll get it right yet, contact our speaker today. So we want to thank you so much. There was a lot to take in. I agree with somebody who posted that in chat. That was a lot to take in, but certainly well worth the time here that you've spent with us. So we very much appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
now, yeah, thank you. And
Okay,
now
thank
we've
you.
turned to our cohort check-in. Okay, and so we have here, and I'm picking up myself. I don't know if I'm someone else's. Uh, Anyways, I'm going to turn off your audio there. All right. So if you would like to introduce yourself, and I will not even attempt to pronounce your name because I'm sure I will not pronounce it correctly. So if you would like to introduce yourself and tell us about the work you're doing in the cohort.
Yeah, my name is Guylaine, and I am with the project that we call Discuss CMI5, that in fact Martin explained last week. It's the same project. So we're still looking for people to join. What we will do is I will provide a typical storyline course. So because we are interested in checking statements for learners. So I will provide a course, publish it in CMI5 for LMS and for NLRS. In fact, I am using Veracity free tier. And from there, each of us, we can observe all the statements that the course will provide. And in our team, some people have different LMSs, so they can check on their own LMS what information is provided, so we can compare. So that's basically what we want to do.
Okay, that is great. So if anyone is interested in CMI5, make sure that you go to the CMI5 channel in Slack and check them out. See if you want to learn a little more about CMI5. And I'm going to
Yeah,
go to, yeah, that would be great. I'm going to go to
thank
our,
you.
thank you so much. And I'm going to go to our next person once I get that straight here. And that is Veronica. And we'll get Veronica here on the stage. She is going to discuss what they're working on in the association's Slack workspace. So, Veronica, if you're there.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, hi. I started a team, associations, continuing ed, and certification. It's ending up a little bit less about associations and more about the continuing ed and especially the certifications. Right now, there's 4 of us pretty actively working on a project that we've outlined, but we definitely have room for more, and we've kind of made it so that anyone can jump in or leave if they have to at any time. Um, and I think 3 out of the 4 of us work for like a professional trade association, so it's not absolutely necessary. Our project is kind of split into the first half, which our goal is like September 21st. As a group, we're going to make some decisions to design a certification or credentialing program framework. Um, like, are we going to have stackable micro credential, or is it going to be just one big thing with lots of pieces? Kind of just we're making those decisions kind of one at a time as a group, asynchronously in the Slack chat. So we're just doing it as we can when we can. And then once we get all of that kind of framework drawn out, especially important there will be the metrics to fulfill those requirements for that program, so that then following that, we will each individually pick, something that we want to create to fill in that credentialing program framework. And with the xAPI statement, capture the data so that we can get those tracking metrics to, track our pretend customer in their credentialing journey. So that's our project. Like I said, it's very, very flexible. We're doing it as we can, when we can, and anyone can jump in. Anyone can direct message me on Slack or join our public team channel, Associations, Continuing Ed, and Certifications. And we have a private channel for our actual work discussion, so I can add you to that if you would like. So thank you, Karen, for the chance to share.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to try and cut and paste this into chat 1 second here, because I think, let's see if it, yeah, except there's a hashtag in front of it. Okay, so this is your team right there in the Slack channel. And I'll go over how you can find new teams. But if you've created new teams, make sure you post in the hashtag Mang and do that. So now I'm going to go to our next person who is going to give us an update on what they are working on. And I'm going to invite them to the stage. And Khalid, if you would please, if you could stop sharing your slides. Someone has asked us to have them so we can just see a full view of everybody. So appreciate that. And here we go to Diane. I've just sent her a message so that she can come on stage here. And so Diane, when you're ready, go ahead, enable your camera and your microphone and tell us about what you're working on.
There I am. Hi. We've got the team, basically xAPI, Rise, Storyline, and we use Cornerstone as our LMS. So there's 4 within my work team that we want to explore xAPI, basically with the articulate, both Storyline and Rise, and figure out how to use that within what we have in our LMS, which is, again, Cornerstone. So we've been kind of dividing that. We have the delivery side who we've figured out how to basically do the XPI viewer statement. So, and then we have the other side, one person is working on XPI statements within Rise, which is a little bit more complicated because Storyline, it has the triggers. We've done a couple where the how are they interacting with the video? How are they downloading resources that we provide? Plus a couple other, there's 4 or 5 different verb and object statements that we've been playing with to kind of just to get a feel for this, to see what it can do. So we've been sharing and communicating within the team site that we have. And I know Nina is our delivery Cornerstone expert here. So she's been providing information and getting information. So it's a lot of information sharing and just saying, hey, we've done this aspect. This is the result we've gotten. And so it's not right now a full-blown project. It's more pieces to figure out how we can use data points within the design itself. So that's kind of what we're doing. I hope.
That sounds great.
We got about 32 people that are, in the group, because everybody's talking to each other. So, yeah, it's an interesting journey, but it's a journey. You're not figuring all this out and the pieces together. It's going to take a little while, but it's fun.
It is going to take a little while. It is. But the fact is that you're doing the work, which is wonderful. And I encourage anyone to go to the Slack channel. And if I did get somebody to say, hey, I don't have that Slack channel. So I went ahead and posted that in your chat there. So if you haven't joined Slack yet, you can certainly join there. And then just as a reminder, I'm not sure which channels I want to join. If you've just joined us in the xAPI cohort, what you can do is as you see here on the screen, you can go up to channels. You can go to manage or browse, whatever. I think it might be just browse for you. And then you can go and sort by the newest channel there to look at the most recent created channels. And that's what you're going to want to do, because this Slack workspace has been around for years and years and years. And so there are some older Slack channels that have been archived. But for the most recent, you will see them there. And you can then look at the particular channels and see which one you might want to join. And hopefully, if you've created a channel, you've posted your hashtag team, because you always want to start with team in the front of your group, and posted that in main along with a little description. And so if you're doing a certification program and you want to see how that works, go ahead and join Veronica's association continuing ed team, because that's what they're working on. If you want to do things in Storyline and Rise, you can find those teams. There's a number of channels and there's a number of things there to join. This is week 5. Tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but next week, week 6 will be here and we'll be halfway through the cohort. So I hope you're enjoying this cohort. I hope you are enjoying everything here that we're presenting in the cohort. And please, 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 if you wish, and we would love for you to do this, is to come and participate in these cohort check-ins. It gives you an opportunity to discuss your project, maybe find some other people who are in here in the session going, hey, I want to do that. And they'll come and join you, because it's always a great effort to have a group work on something, and then you can piece things out. So with that, I am going to thank our presenter today, Khalid, and all of our presenters for the cohort check-in, Veronica, Diane, and Gulien. So thank you so much. And if I have messed up your name, I apologize. But with that, I'm going to thank you all for spending your time with us today, and we'll see you next week at the xAPI cohort. Bye, everyone.